Hello everybody, here for March video game pickups for How to Lose at Video Games. The stimmy hit and I lost all control. So I made a video the other day, my first part of a video for my Switch collection, and there's going to be a little bit of crossover with the games that I talked about on that and some of the stuff here. And there's a lot of games to get through, mostly because there's 15 Switch games, and a couple of other ones, but like mostly there's 15 Switch games here. And we're going to get right through, starting with the ones that I've already talked about this week on a video, whether or not you've watched that. So let's go with Hyper Light Drifter, a big old box special edition here, a game that I spent about 5 years of my life knowing of the existence of, and about 2 weeks being really excited to purchase and play it, because I found out that this was coming out, and I looked it up again because I hadn't really paid much attention to it. I just knew it existed and was supposed to be cool. I looked it up, and the soundtrack really got me more than anything, and I got really, really excited to buy this really, really nice special edition that comes with, the game manual, soundtrack, keychain, a little like translation card, and a poster, which are really, really nice. And the soundtrack in particular, the second game that I think I own that I would actually like take the soundtrack out and put it in and listen to it without having bought the soundtrack separately and having a soundtrack that I would actually listen to. The other being Sexy Brutale, which I didn't buy because it had a soundtrack. I like played the game and ended up wanting to listen to the soundtrack separately. This game I pretty much bought for that, and I'm excited to get the special edition. I was excited for the special edition because of the soundtrack. Next, Darksiders Genesis, another Darksiders game to add into my collection that I will play for maybe a half hour to an hour and think that the game is really awesome, but never really pick up again or finish. I don't have Darksiders 3 yet. Kind of waiting on that to get a Switch release if I actually like pull the trigger on it. Or I could just buy it now for like $10 because that's how cheap it is. But the Darksiders series is really good. And this one is a little bit different because this is more of a Diablo view, sort of top-down isometric view. Not top-down, so an isometric view dungeon crawler version of Darksiders that is prologue to the first one. Cool stuff here. I just like Darksiders even though I never get around to playing it or playing it for any length of time. So I'm glad that, like, eventually you could get all of them on the Switch, even though I would not give up my Wii U ones, because I'd like to have that stuff on the Wii U. Next, Deadly Premonition 2, or Dead 2E Premonition, A Blessing in Disguise. I finally, like, this got down to about $30 on Amazon. I was like, you know what, grab it, like, there's always that sort of, like, I don't think it's ever going to get lower, but I'm not going to play it right away. So you kind of have to like balance that out, and you know, I don't think I'm going to play this right away. I've never actually finished the first game, although I found out that my other friend, who is really, really into Deadly Premonition, also played it as a group and never actually finished it, and has started playing this. So a little more confident that I'll actually get around to playing this because I don't have to play the first one. But yeah, grabbing it at $30 is probably the best way to do this right now. If I'm wrong and it goes a little bit lower, then so be it. But $30 is not a bad price to pay for this game that eventually is probably going to be more than $60. Because that's just how Deadly Premonition works at this point. Or any survival horror or anything. Cat Quest and Cat Quest 2 Pawsome Pack. I had the first one on PS4 and I played it for a bit. And I did like the feel and the tone and the visuals and stuff, but I never like stuck with it. And then this one, I don't think you can get it right now, but this was $20 on Amazon, which is the same price that I had originally paid for just the first one on PS4. So I was like, you know what? I do like this, so I'm going to grab this for $20. You're essentially getting a $10 to upgrade to the other one and $10 for the new game. Like, pretty into that. Another game you can get for really cheap right now, actually, 1971 Project Helios. This was originally a GameStop-only game, a GameStop-only physical release that came out on the eShop like last year. But you can get it on Amazon right now. I paid like $15 for it. And it is like a tactical style, almost like an XCOM, but I don't think it's quite like XCOM, but like a tactical RPG type of thing. with a story about like the sun going out in 1971 and surviving for heat and food and stuff. Interesting, cool pickup for $15. Also, before I put it away, this is by GS, published by GS2, who I've seen. They have a really weirdly generic logo, but I think they've been publishing some cool stuff lately. They published Daymare 1998, which is cool. I don't think everything they're doing is perfect or like super exciting stuff, but I do like that there's another publisher of their style, on that Tedesco 505. I don't want to say Maximum because Maximum is so trash at this point, but in that vein. Next, this snuck up on me because I had always wanted to get this off of PlayAsia, and I kept not pulling the trigger on this, but this is Kunio-Kun, the World Classics Collection. I thought I was done this past week. I thought I was done for the month buying anything, and then this comes in at work, and I'm like, fuck it, like I've got money for it right now, like I'm gonna get it. Was holding out for a Western release on this, basically, like not having to go on PlayAsia and pay the full $60 for it, and eventually it was okay. I don't think, like, I've been waiting on it. I don't think it's gonna come around. Kunio-Kun collection. This is 18 different games. I can't really read it that well off the back because it's got all the Japanese versions of the names. But if you go through it and it's got even like all 3 Double Dragons, Renegade, Super Dodgeball, River City Ransom, Crash and the Boys. It's got all those English versions of those games on there. It's got the soccer ones. It's got the unreleased sequel to River City, or the sequel to. There's another Crash and the Boys or something like that. I always forget. There's so many though. It's got the hockey game, the basketball games. It's got all that stuff on it. So really, really cool stuff. This is all the old ones on one collection. Cool. Game I've been looking forward to actually picking up and playing for a long time. Hades finally got its physical. Picked it up. I haven't played it yet, but I did open it to look at the nice character guidebook, which is cool. God, I keep putting off like starting this because I don't want it to become like a super addicting game that I don't get to anything else. I don't want to be disappointed. I don't want it to be anything else than exactly as interesting to me as I want it to be. It's been built up so much from how I've heard so many people talk about it. But for right now, it's like, yeah, one of the best games of last year. I have it on physical in my collection, and I'm happy with that for now, finally. You can still pick this up for $20, and I had teased me for a long time, basically, that you could get the Katamari Reroll on a physical for $20, and I always was looking at it like, I don't need it. Like, I don't need it. I have PS2 Katamari Damacy. But this is a version on the Switch. It says features for Nintendo Switch, which I haven't really gotten to yet. But that's also kind of why I was like, yeah, $20. Like, yeah, I'm going to get it on Switch because I do love this game. I mean, not much else to say about it. It's Katamari, and it's brilliant, and it's fantastic. I love Katamari. Little Nightmares 2. I absolutely loved the first Little Nightmares, which I have the. I don't even have the complete edition on anything, including Switch. I have the original version of it that came out, which had the little statue of 6, but it didn't. It was a launch version, and it didn't come with anything else as far as like in-game content. So I've got stuff that I probably should play for Little Nightmares, but now we've got Little Nightmares 2, and I'm looking forward to putting this in. Because I've heard it's fantastic, and I love the first one, so good stuff. A limited run that I waited for to come to Best Buy. There's another one of those in here. There's just one more of those in here. The Mummy Demastered. This is actually associated with the really bad Mummy movie reboot that came out a couple years ago. But the game, Mummy Demastered here, is a Metroidvania side-scrolling run and gun made by WayForward. Just WayForward doing what they do best. And I don't know if it was a budget thing or if it was a conscious decision or anything like that, but like, if this is the game you know that you can get out of it, like, you made the right decision by going to WayForward, and like, this is now the best thing to be associated with that Mummy movie from 2018, I think it was. Literally, the logos on the back are WayForward and Universal. It's like, whose decision was that? Because, like, give them props. Whoever's decision it was to get WayForward to make that game. Big thing. Really good. The Persistence. A game, actually, that I could buy in VR for PS4, but I said, no, I'm not doing that. And now it's on Switch that you can get for about $20-$30. So cool looking survival horror game that people seem to be enjoying. First person experience too, which is cool. It also fits in with the VR thing, but just a cool looking game that I was happy to pick up for under the $30 price tag. So, Ghost Parade, published by Axis. This was a cool looking game that I thought was decent looking enough to pick up for a while, but put off because nothing about it really jumped out at me, other than it being like cool, like scary demons and stuff, but also with the cute aesthetic and everything. And published by Axis, who they pick good stuff to publish. I think the thing that actually put me over the edge for this, other than it going down a little bit and me having the money to pick it up anyway, was that Balan Wonderworld came out last week. Which when I first saw that trailer, it looked so exciting to me. It looked like a game I'd absolutely 100% want to play. And then I've heard nothing but bad things about Balan Wonderworld since a playable demo and stuff was made for it. And when I look at this, oddly enough, I might not be correct in that, but this game always looks to me like a 2D version of what they're trying to do with Balan Wonderworld. And so with that game coming out and being not good and anybody that I've heard has said that the game is not good and needed like 6 more months. And that's what Ghost Parade reminds me of, so I kind of pulled the trigger on that because I did think it looked cool and like similar to that game but in a 2D style. And the other limited run game, and one that I've actually already played and finished because it was awesome, Return of the Obra Dinn. This is a really just like so unique. I've never played a game like this on so many levels, and that actually makes sense. After I'd bought it and after I'd started playing it too, I actually found out that the person that made it made Papers, Please, which is a game I haven't played, but I've seen played and I've seen and heard a lot about. And when you look at the kind of like no real concept has been done before, like that game, like Papers, Please, that's when you start to look at this and go, okay, like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Like, this is a first person, sort of like an old school adventure game. It is a mystery to be solved. What I've actually heard it referred to as is an insurance adventure, because you're basically an insurance adjuster who has to investigate this ship that disappeared and came back with nobody left alive on it. God, there's so much about this that requires explanation, and it seems like it's too much, it's too overwhelming, it's too wordy. But all I can say is, like, I mean, just look up this game and see how different it is. I did already finish it. I needed help, because it is a game that you're going to need help with, because things can be a little bit obtuse, or just, even if you don't have, like, a decent, like, understanding of like sailing and nautical stuff, like you're gonna need a little bit of help just to figure out that knowledge in this game that you need to solve that. But it's not a complaint at all. It's just I'm so tied up because it's so hard for me to describe this game and not sound like I'm complaining about it, because I really have not played a game like this, and that's why you should play it. Really, really cool stuff. Yeah, definitely, highly recommended. Not technically a new game, but a new version of this that I got, the Pokemon Shield with Expansion Pass. I had no real intention of getting the Expansion Pass or anything like that for Pokemon Shield, and I hadn't played it for so long. And then I saw this, and I read the little, the little thing at the bottom there, which is usually reserved for saying like you need 10 extra gigabytes on like third-party games and stuff. But this is on the cartridge, or at the very least, the things needed to access it are on the cartridge. I'm not 100% clear on how it works, but if you can buy a used copy of this, basically, and get the expansion pass. I think if the content wasn't already included with the base game in the first place, I think the reason for that is that you probably got the content itself in a regular patch otherwise, and all that the expansion pass does for you is it gives you the items that you need, sort of like the Eon ticket from the older games or stuff like that, event items that you need to get to other places. that will take you to Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra. And I've played Isle of Armor, and I've done a lot of the stuff in there. I haven't done the stuff with Urshifu here yet, because you need to level a lot for that. But just a ton of content to be had in this. So, like, don't think it's weird to pay $90 for this, because that's what the price would be. You'd be paying the full $60 price for the Pokemon game, and you'd be paying the $30 for the expansion pass part of it. So it's 90 plus 30. Even if you buy that new and you could, like, I already have Pokemon Shield and everything like that, or if you don't have it yet and, like, this is the way to go, this is a really, really interesting, like, package of this to have at this point. So I'm glad that I own this version of this game that has that content on the physical. That's really, really interesting to me, and I'm interested to see how sort of collectible this version of this becomes down the line. I'm just really glad that I have this version now, because I've gone back into it. I'm very, very into the game. And then finally, the last one for Switch on this month's pickups. There's been a lot. This is 15, technically 15 and 16, but this is the double pack of Super Monkey Ball, Banana Blitz HD, and Sonic Forces. I had been seeing this for a couple months, and it was at $30 a lot of the time. And I would look at it and I'd say, oh man, the Banana Blitz thing, like, I do kind of want to play that. And this is one of two packs that Sega did for their recent releases on the Switch. The other one contains two just, like, objectively much better games, Team Sonic Racing and Sonic Mania. And if you don't have either of those games and you want to pick that up, like, $30 for that is a fantastic deal. This took a lot of convincing on my part for me to get this, because I did really want to play Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD, because I'd never played it before. I'd never played Banana Blitz, and then I'd always heard bad things about it, and then they said that this was the game that they were going to port to the Switch, and I was like, why? I've never heard a good thing about it. Like, why pick that one? So I became curious, because I was like, is there something redeeming? Can they fix it? Can they do something with it? And maybe, or is it overblown that I've heard so many, things about it that it's not as good? And we're talking about this, and I'm not even talking about Sonic Forces yet, because Sonic Forces is a 3D Sonic game with a weird, like, dark tone, like they like to use at this point. And I will say that both of these games, I think I would have paid $15 for by themselves. And I think if I paid $15 for Monkey Ball, and I played it and I didn't like it, I would have been like, alright, I only paid $15 for it. And if I then, in a separate transaction, paid $15 for Sonic Forces and tried it and didn't think I liked it, again, okay, it was only $15. Something about, like, getting these in a 2-pack, paying $30 for the package, even though it's basically, what I would pay for both of them, and getting two games that I didn't think I was going to like. I've not even touched Sonic Forces yet, by the way. But I've played Banana Blitz, and it's not great. But I don't know what it was. Like, I could not bring myself to pay $30 for these two games in one transaction. And so far those worries have been completely founded, because Banana Blitz is not good. But I hope that makes sense, that, like, I didn't want to pay $30 for two games, both of which I hated. Even if I could have paid $15 for them at different times separately, and not been so upset about it. Anyway, so that's Switch, and then a couple other games here to run through. We've got two PS1 games here. We've got Army Men World War Land, Sea, and Air. This goes with my Team Assault that I picked up a couple months ago. Because I played Sergeant Heroes 1, I was like, oh yeah, Army Men is great. I like Army Men. So I'm happy to pick up any of the PS1 games that I don't have the equivalent for on 64. And Wipeout 3 on the PS1. Again, a game that, like, Wipeout 64 is good. Wipeout 3 is probably better, but I've never really been super into this series. But I was glad to pay, I think, around $10 for this, which is not bad. And this is probably the best one, so, or at least the best one on the PS1. A couple PC games, actually. I get PC games, and then I know I'm not really going to do anything with them, or it's going to take a lot of convincing for me to do that, but there are cool games to collect for PC for not that much that I'm enjoying getting, like Might and Magic Heroes 5. This series like supposed to be phenomenal, and actually I've heard that this one is probably up there in the running for the best one. So anything well done with Might and Magic, I am interested in. And Heroes 5, haven't heard a bad thing about it, so glad to pay like less than $10 for that. And then the Lighthouse, the Dark Being, a weird Lovecraftian almost first-person adventure by Sierra. Dark 90s, creepy, cool stuff. And the third in a game that in a series of games that I actually want to get all three of, this is Gabriel Knight 3, Blood of the Sacred, Blood of the Damned, which sounds like a Deicide song. I cannot think anything else about that. Blood of the Sacred, Blood of the Damned. Cool stuff. This is a 3-disc game. The other one that I've seen physical before, another Sierra game, by the way. But Beast Within has 5 discs. It's crazy. I do want to grab all 3 of those. Cool stuff. Adventure game stuff, you know. It's Sierra. One DS game, the DS version of Lord of the Rings Conquest. A game that's done a little bit differently, I think, in this version than on the PS3 360 versions. And it's Lord of the Rings, and if it's even slightly different, I'm now interested in seeing what they do with it. So, Lord of the Rings Conquest. Another version of it. For GameCube, just one game, not too exciting, but R Racing Revolution, sort of the closest thing that the GameCube has to a Gran Turismo, and not that terribly excites me, but it is supposed to be really well done. It looks really nice, and I think the thing I like best about it is that this has like a story mode, which is cool. Story mode with like a serious driving game with an actual like cinematic style story mode is interesting. This is not one of the versions that has Pac-Man Versus included with it, because I think they printed a bunch of Pac-Man Versus discs and had to get rid of them, so they put them with another release. But I already have Pac-Man Versus, so it didn't matter. Pokemon Battle Revolution, a first-party Wii game that I really never paid that much attention to, because it's just Pokemon Stadium on the Wii, and I have yet to see anybody say anything in the realm of, oh, it's got this mode in it, or you've got to get it for this, or like anything like that. Like, you can play Diamond and Pearl and Platinum and enjoy them plenty, and Diamond and Pearl, okay. No, I was going to say, I don't know about Heart Gold or Soul Silver. It only says Diamond and Pearl here. I want to say you can do Platinum too. But yeah, I don't know anything about this game that makes it like a must-have, like a must-play game, but it is a Pokemon game, and Pokemon's insane right now, so I wasn't going to complain about like seeing that for $20 and be like, yeah, first-party Wii game I don't have, give it to me. 2 original Xbox games, WrestleMania 21, just getting more wrestling games, whatever. I know this game's not supposed to be good. It's done by Studio Gigante. It's a game from this time period that's not done by Yuke's and Jax. It's got the Jax licensing, but not obviously made by Yuke's. Named after a good WrestleMania. I've heard it's not good, but I'll give it a try at some point. And then Otogi, Myth of Demons, one of Sega's, and actually Sega and From Software did this action RPG, feudal Japan, Oni stuff. Just a bunch of, like, all the cool stuff that you can think of. And I've actually had the second game of this for a long time, and it's taken me a long time to pull the trigger on getting the first one. It took it coming in at work to be like, oh my god, yeah, I still don't have that. I'll have to grab that. And then lastly, I'm going to end with some PS4 titles. These aren't terribly exciting, but I did pick up 2 Call of Duties. Black Ops 4, which I never really bothered with because it has no campaign. But it does have zombies, so I saw this go down to $5 online, so I was like, yeah, I'll grab it. Excuse me. And then Modern Warfare, the Modern Warfare reboot, which on the other hand, I am really into because I love the Modern Warfare series. Like, the first one that I really played was Modern Warfare on the Wii. Like, that's me getting into Call of Duty, was that version of that game. So, and this having a campaign that's supposed to be good, I'm always going to be, somewhat interested in this. Same thing goes with Black Ops. Like, the Black Ops campaigns and the Modern Warfare campaigns, I do have an interest in those. Jurassic World Evolution. This is a game I waited and waited and waited on, either for it to drop in price to like $20, $25, which is what I paid for this, or for it to get a physical on Switch. And I believe it's on the Switch eShop, but it doesn't seem like it's getting a physical. This is Roller Coaster Tycoon with Jurassic Park. That's awesome. It's supposed to be all right. I don't think people are crazy about this, but I think the people who have played this are probably really into it. I think it's worth a try. It's Jurassic World. It's cool, and it's Roller Coaster Tycoon. And lastly, just to cap off just the sports game, it's NHL 19. These sports games dropped as fast as they ever have, but NHL 19, I picked up NHL 18 the year it came out because it had 3-on-3, the threes mode, which is really cool. This has a ones mode. It's like a free-for-all thing is what it says on the back. So I did have my eye on this because I was like, oh, a new mode, a new arcadey mode, or whatever they're going to do with that. So this is cool. Have to try that at some point. And that does it. There was, like I said, lots of Switch. I went crazy. That stimulus check, took away all of my, self-control on buying Switch games for the month. And this is the result. The other stuff came through as well. It's cool. I have so much to play for Switch. I'm so excited by the system at this point, and I'm making these collection videos, I'm making the pickup videos, and I'm looking at all my games all the time, and I'm like, the system is great. It's so exciting. I just, I keep trying to make time for it. So cool. Yeah, thank you for watching. I hope I can restrain myself next month and there won't be 15 Switch games plus 15 other games to talk about. Maybe we'll calm down a little bit. But with that, thank you, and see you later.